We're here at Blue Steel Guns with Maggie again. Maggie, it's always a pleasure. We really appreciate it, especially after everything you've been through with the ATF this last week. Outside of the ATF, just a common, the customers that come in, you get an eclectic group of people that come into this store. I think it's your location, being in Raytown. You get country people, you get city people, you get suburban people, you get a group of everybody, and you even have people that travel to come here.
Yeah.
Is there any advice you could give us, the gun patrons, on things we should not do at a gun store?
Please don't tell me your history of felonies and warrants and arrests. I am not your lawyer. I am not your preacher. I'm not here to listen to your confessionals. And really, your lawyer would probably advise you to shut the heck up. And
probably would be good advice.
Yeah, don't, what's that thing? Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law.
Right.
I don't want to have to testify that I heard some of the stuff that comes out of people's mouths. I'm gonna go back over here into my office and close the doors and the windows so I don't have to hear this. Don't talk about.
Because you can't even run an application on somebody who says they're a felon or talks about their felony.
Yep, I'm like, okay, yeah, no. And call up, hey, do you guys let felons into the gun range? Nope, certainly don't. But, if I don't know, I'm not sitting there asking people going, you a felon? Hey.
You don't seem like the type of person.
Are you
a felon? You look like a felon.
You look like you just up to no good. You can't do that to people.
So in the reciprocal, one of them would be no need to share all their felonies with you.
Please don't share your.
Just if you fill out an application, check the yes in the felony box.
No
need to share.
Yeah, just have you been imprisoned for a felony? Not suspended in sentence. Not I was acquitted in another state and this happened when I was 14. I don't freaking care. I did not pass law school. I am not a lawyer.
Somehow I feel like a lot of other people who work at gun stores are saying amen at this point in this video.
Okay, I am not qualified to answer questions of any legal regard or whatever. You got a question about ATF paperwork? I can answer that. Yeah. But as for your personal record, criminal or non, whatever, I don't care.
Now, what else? What are some other things? Because this is maybe the goal of this video is to help gun store employees like yourselves.
Gentlemen, I really don't want to see your underwear hanging out the top of your pants with your pants hanging down so low. Thank you. No, please leave that to the imagination. I really, that's so embarrassing. And I don't want to.
It's been a long time, too. It's been a fashion that I've wished to have gone away for at least 20 years.
Oh, my heckin' goodness. That is so. And they'll get made fun of. So I've had customers walk in and make fun of other customers with their pants down, and nobody's happy about it. So usually what I'll do is I'll walk up to the fella in question. Usually I'll be like, don't want to embarrass you, but
your pants are down,
your underwear's showing, and I don't want anybody to make fun of you. I would be so embarrassed. Please tell me, if anything like that happens, if you can see my underwear, please let me know, because that is mortification unheard of. I don't want to deal with. So usually they're, oh, well, thanks. And they'll pull them right up. And and Steve goes, how do you do that? I go, well, I just asked nicely. Like, hey, you don't want to be made fun of.
It's all about the delivery.
I guess, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't want to see underwear. No, thanks. Let's see, other things do not do. I'd say please don't flag other customers or the employees with the barrel of guns, but we check before we hand them to you in the first place. We know they're empty and unloaded. You think that we're watching for people's guns. We're actually watching their hands to see where their hands are and what they're doing with it. Because if I've got a shoulder holster on and you see me like this, start worrying. If I've got a shoulder holster on and you see my hands are down here, or I'm like, hey, let me grab this one off the shelf while I do something else over here with this one. You know, just don't worry about it. You know, I'm not going for, you watch where people's hands are going. No sudden moves.
I noticed too that that's a pretty common practice in most gun stores. Is the employee, before they hand you the gun, they check it. I always check it myself.
You should.
Yeah, I do. Even after they check it, I also will check it.
You
because,
should.
Again, I'm not going to be the guy that tests a trigger to find out that
Oh,
they just shot a hole in their floor.
Yeah, and you really should. And if you don't know how to check something, that's what the people on this side of the counter are here for. Hey, can you teach me how this opens? I've done that myself many times. And more recently, I think there was, just last month, there was a gun. I'm like, Steve, get in here. I can't get this thing open. And it was an AR with a bent charging handle. Like somebody had tried to actually step on it, I think, and had bent the charging handle so it wasn't coming open. So had parts that had to be replaced on that one before we could put it out for sale, which was nice to know. But we did eventually get it open and see, yes, it was empty and unloaded. So
I've often run into, like even more recently, like going to SHOT Show or so, like I've gone up to test a gun and had to ask them, how does this work? Like,
yeah.
Because I couldn't figure it out.
Yeah.
It's in that last year, like not like 20 years ago, but last year.
That's what they're here for. They're here to tell you how this functions, what you need to check for. And there's been times where I'll be showing off a 1911 that came in from a collection or a trade or belonged to somebody else previously. And I'm like, and you should be able to function test all the safeties on these to make sure it work. And sure enough, we'll have a backstrap safety that goes bad, or something else on the gun that is wrong or missing. When you hand things to customers, you notice stuff like that. So you're good. Checking guns to make sure that they're still loaded and everything, even after someone else is checked. But yeah, I tell everybody, I've personally put every single one of these out. They've all been through my office before they went up here on the shelf. I checked them. I know they were unloaded, but I'm still going to check again before I hand them over to you guys. So it just happens.
I have a friend whose wife was fired from a gun store for that reason. She handed somebody a gun that had a round in it, and then it went off in the store. And of course, she was immediately fired.
Well, yeah.
You know.
We've had, geez Louise, that would suck. We have had some unintentional discharges, negligent discharges, whatever you want to call them. Steve likes to say that it's not if it's going to happen to you, it's when. On a long enough timeline, it's gonna
so you've
happen.
Had people negligently fire firearms in the store?
Well, that happens when you take guns in for repair and people are like, it's loaded, I can't get it out of the chamber. I'm like, don't touch the trigger. Please don't touch the trigger. Leave the trigger alone. You know, or how many times have you gone to a range and somebody in the booth next to you has a hang fire? And it's like, what? Why isn't this working? They set the gun down and all of a sudden it'll go off. Like, it's not if, it's when. And there's no way to tell.
So the guns in your store that you have on the shelves, I've never had you show me a gun that it actually had a round in it. So my guess would be it'd be the guns that people bring into the store, whether they're trying to sell them to you, trade them, or...
Yes, and the employees go home with pockets full of ammo from guns that were handed to us empty. It's unloaded, man. You can just take it. It's unloaded, you know, and I watch them drop a full magazine out, and then you pull the slide back and catch the round that has just popped out, and they're like, oh, can I get that back? And I'm like, no. You told me it was empty. I'm handing it back to you exactly as you told me it was. So that round is now mine. Sorry.
Yeah.
You know, you told me it was empty. Now it is empty.
So and double check before you bring something.
Please, please, please.
And I've actually seen people come in and they want to sell you the gun that they actually have holstered.
Yeah, that's another weird one. It depends on who you get. Some stores will let you unload them. Other stores are like, set it on the counter, back away from it, and we'll do it for you.
Which makes the most sense to me.
And I'm cool with that as well. I don't want somebody to accidentally sweep anybody else that's here on either side of the counter. So usually we're just like, set it on the counter, just back away, enjoy, we'll unload this thing for you. Or heck, there's times where we don't have a specific gun to show people unless it's one of our carry guns. And so they're like, hey, can I see that? Yeah, give me a second. Okay, backups. Yeah, you can check this 1911. We're good. Like, just let me unload this one for you, and then the difference between.
My guess is you haven't lost a customer yet.
On accident or on purpose?
Either one.
No.
I was wondering why you had to pause and think about it. Like, well, how many?
Well, I mean, there is a generation that is reaching its end, and so.
Well, I meant more specifically regarding.
With
the negligent misfire.
No, I haven't had any of those yet. I did actually. Couple years ago, a regular customer of ours likes to build his own firearms, and so he came in. I didn't see him for a while. He came back in wanting to sell another one of his babies, ship it off somewhere. He had sold it on Gunbroker or something, and we were shipping it out for him. And I'm like, Daniel, what the hell happened to your hand, man? I mean, his hand's all bandaged up. I'm like, what's going on? And he's like, low blood sugar. I wasn't thinking, and I went to check my gun and racked it back and blew my finger off. I'm like, that usually only happens when your finger's on the trigger.
Right.
So, if you keep your booger hook off the bang switch, usually you don't have that problem. But once again, I wasn't there when it happened, so I cannot say that he wasn't doing everything perfectly correct and it was the gun's fault, not his, or, maybe.
Whatever it is he did, don't do it in the store.
Yeah, please don't. It's not my day to clean up blood. I'm not here to clean up blood.
Any last words on don't do this in the gun store? Seems like the ones you got, those, if everybody did those, that'd be huge.
That'd be awesome. Gosh, there's probably some stuff I'm missing, like, hey, don't pester the other patrons with all of your wonderful stories about a gun that you're not willing to sell them, but you want them to buy. Like, I love it. I love it when customers come in and are like, oh, you have to buy this gun. Well, no, they don't have it here. I have one and it's great. And this is what you need to own. And you get this customer hyped about something. It's like, where are they going to find it? That's a discontinued model, man.
It's interesting oftentimes, because I've tried so many guns that I used to, when I'd see a customer looking at a gun, I'd be like, oh, that's a great one.
Yeah.
I just quit talking at all, like, for a sec, because I feel like I'm in there's a sales process, and I don't know what that process is. I don't know what stage of that process you're in.
Yeah.
And I'm just throwing in my 2 cents, and I realize I just quit even commenting at all.
And I try not to interrupt the other employees that are here when they're. Unfortunately, I'm very good at interrupting. It's really bothersome when someone else on this side of the counter, I'm like, you want to sell guns, man? Get a store. Go for it. Do this. You'd be great at it. But we're here. We have a job to do. Please let us do our job. That is probably one of the only other things I could think of. Like, just be kind. Right. Be kind to the people on this side of the counter. Now, it's another thing if somebody on this side of the counter turns and says, do you have one of these? What do you think about this?
Yeah, it's a whole other.
What do you like about this as you yourself? And like, for ladies that come in and are looking first-time firearms, It's nice to talk to another girl. I'm not the girl you want to talk to. I am not the girl you want to talk to. I'll usually get another customer to kind of like, hey, tell me what you're looking for. These girls need to get together. What do they like? What don't they like? And at least give us some parameters to narrow down for them. So leave the guys at home. Unless the guys are looking for a gun for themselves.
Right.
But I mean, because they're like, no, my lady needs exactly this.
I just did a video on it.
I know, right? It's like you can say that all you want, but unless she's picking it out for herself, she's probably not going to like it that much.
That's right. Well, Maggie, gosh, thank you so much. We're always so thankful for you. And hopefully this helps. Hopefully you see the whole world, the world of gun stores. Maybe they'll...
If it would be nice for other people, just, that's
mission accomplished.
Right. We're good there. I can live with that.
Thank you so much for that insight. We really appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for having me. Thanks for asking me easy questions.
Well, good. You're like, oh, I got a bunch of these. We'll chat with you next time.
All right.
All right. Talk to you soon.
Take care, Mark. See you, everybody.